Dual SIM smartphones let you use 2 SIM cards in a single phone. Most people who use dual SIM phones find the functionality useful for mixing work and pleasure, rather than carrying separate phones for their work and personal contracts. Dual SIM phones are also useful for maintaining 2 personal contracts, whereby one might offer a good rate on calls and text and the other offers unlimited data. Or perhaps you frequently travel abroad and would like to carry a local SIM for when you're at home and another that is local to the country you're visiting. Well, we've rounded up the best phones for all this in this video. Sometimes, you don't have to spend too much to get a dual SIM smartphone with basic features to handle today's digital needs. The Realme X2 Pro is one of those devices. One thing that makes the X2 Pro capable of competing with flagship smartphones is the octa-core CPU inside. This chip has also been coupled with an Adreno 640 to fulfill your necessary gaming needs as well. This basic version of X2 Pro comes with 8GB of RAM, which is enough for most users on most days. It houses 128GB of internal storage, which is honestly low, and you cannot upgrade it via an SD card either. So, if you want to store more files locally, you should get an upgraded version. Although priced under what a typical high-tier device would cost, the display on Realme X2 Pro has a size of 6.5 inches and a resolution of 1080 by 2400. On top of that, the Full HD Super AMOLED panel has a refresh rate of 90 Hz as well. As opposed to what you'd expect from a mid-budget phone, X2 Pro packs a quad camera setup on the back. It consists of a 64MP primary lens, a 13MP telephoto lens, an 8MP ultra-wide lens, and a 2MP depth sensor. This setup does a commendable job of providing you with high-quality photographs and 4K video recording at up to 60 FPS. When we check its design aspect, the device doesn't disappoint. The weight of 199 grams and a thickness of 0.34 inches gives a premium feel to the device in general. Apart from the standard USB Type-C connector, the device supports Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5, GPS, and NFC. Finally, while the 4000 mAh battery is pretty much the standard, the show stealer is its 50 watts fast charging. According to the company, you can fully charge this device in just 35 minutes. If there is one thing you could never go wrong about Google Pixel devices, it's their camera. The brand new Pixel 4a keeps the legacy going. This time, however, you get the near flagship performance and superior camera details for a budget under $400. Because it's a light version of the already available flagship device, Google has used a Qualcomm Snapdragon 730G chipset inside. This octa-core processor is coupled with Adreno 618 to provide the standard speed and stable performance. You can't expect the highest frame rates in intense games, though. We see the trusty combination of 6GB RAM and 128GB internal storage in this package as well. 6GB of RAM keeps the device capable of handling day-to-day multitasking needs with ease. For the display, Pixel 4a has chosen something less fancy. The 5.81-inch Full HD OLED panel still has the standard refresh rate of 60 Hz. On the bright side, the lower resolution of 1080 by 2340 and refresh rate help the device in reducing battery consumption. Unlike Apple, Google doesn't want to move away from the single camera setup completely. That is why you can spot a single 12.2MP primary sensor on the back. In addition to offering superb camera features like HDR+ and night sight, Google uses software optimization to make the photos look good, even when there is a single sensor. On the front, you get a punch-hole 8MP sensor as well. Compared to the flagship devices, the Google Pixel 4a is a small device. It weighs just 143 grams and has a thickness of 0.32 inches. So, if you have a liking for handy smartphones, this is a great choice. A dual SIM smartphone is the perfect choice for hardcore gamers who need high-speed networks no matter where they go. ASUS ROG Phone 5 becomes such an impressive choice by bringing a flagship-grade processor and a super huge battery into the package. To enable the best performance with even the most graphics-intensive games, ASUS has used a Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 processor on this device. This octa-core chip delivers competitive performance, also thanks to the Adreno 660 GPU inside. This version of the ROG Phone 5 comes with 12GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. 12GB is enough to manage even the toughest games because the system manages resources very well in the gaming mode. Because it's supposed to assist games in the visual impact, the ROG Phone 5 comes with a 6.75-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display. This panel has a resolution of 1080 by 2448 and a refresh rate of 144 Hz. ASUS has not made this smartphone to be an excellent camera device. However, you can still depend on the dual camera setup, with a 64MP primary sensor and 13MP ultra-wide sensor, for standard photos and 4K video. There is also a 5MP single sensor on the front, and it supports 1080p video recording and decent selfies. Considering the weight of 240 grams and thickness of 0.37 inches, this ROG smartphone is bigger. ASUS has used this extra space to accommodate a bigger battery and cooling technologies. On the connectivity side, you get GPS, NFC, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth 5, which can extend the gaming capabilities. It does not come with 5G connectivity. Because it's made for hardcore gamers, the 6000 mAh battery on the device is a perfect choice, indeed. It comes with 30 watts fast charging, which means you don't have to wait for hours to charge the phone fully. Never has Xiaomi's rivalry with Samsung been so pronounced. The same year the latter company downgrades the specs of its flagship phones from previous generations, Xiaomi's comes along and turns all those same specs up to Mi 11. You can buy the Xiaomi Mi 11 with either 128GB storage or 256GB. The Xiaomi Mi 11 isn't the company's largest flagship smartphone, but it's still fairly large, with dimensions of 164.3 by 74.6 by 8.1 mm. At 196 grams, it's fairly lightweight for a phone of its size. At the bottom, the phone has a USB-C port, a power button and volume rocker on the right edge, and an IR blaster at the top. This latter tool is used to send out infrared signals, and finds most use with the Mi Remote app, which turns your smartphone into an AirZots TV remote. The Mi 11 has a glass front and back, and aluminum frame. The glass is called Gorilla Glass Victus, and the company that makes it says it's extra protective. With a 6.81-inch display, the Xiaomi Mi 11 is the company's biggest flagship in terms of screen size, and it also dwarfs almost all of its competitors. The screen is curved at its edges, though not dramatically so, and is broken up by a small punch hole cutout for the selfie camera in the top left corner. In terms of resolution, it's 1440 by 3200, which is sharper than most flagships of similar price. While the cameras represent a modest upgrade over the Mi 10, at least compared to the big upgrades in other departments, there are a few key changes that improve the photography experience here. The main snapper is 108MP f/1.9. This is the fifth Xiaomi phone to use such a high res sensor. The secondary camera is a 13MP f/2.4 ultra-wide snapper, which we've seen Xiaomi use in its smartphone since the dawn of time. The final camera is a 5MP f/2.4 telemacro camera, and it's certainly the star of the show. Macro lenses are used for close. Prefix denotes that the lens is designed for snapping far. Put that together, and it's a camera designed to take pictures of small objects from far away. Finally, the Xiaomi Mi 11 is packing the Snapdragon 888 chipset. This is the most powerful chipset Android phones have available to them, at least at the time of the phone's launch. Samsung has three models in its 2021 flagship Galaxy S series: the small S21, the medium S21 Plus, and the large S21 Ultra. They all have the same basic processor and modem. The S21 and S21 Plus are similar, other than their screen and battery sizes. The S21 Ultra pours on features the other two lack: a 108-megapixel main camera, a 40-megapixel selfie camera, a 10x optical zoom camera, S Pen support, Wi-Fi 6E, and UWB directional positioning. The S21 Ultra starts with a body that feels less cobbled together than the S20 Ultra did. At 6.50 by 2.98 by 0.35 inches, the S21 Ultra is slightly shorter than the S20 Ultra, but taller and narrower than the iPhone 12 Pro Max. The biggest and best design difference from the S20 is the better integrated camera module. Rather than a discrete, hard-edged bump on the back, it's now merged into the corner of the phone. You can opt for 128GB or 256GB of storage with 12GB of RAM, or 512GB of storage with 16GB of RAM. There is no microSD card slot. If you absolutely need expandable memory, stick with the Note 20 or the Note 20 Ultra. The 6.8-inch, 3200 by 1,440 pixel screen is covered in the new Gorilla Glass Victus. Samsung says that the screen is 25% brighter than the Galaxy S20 Ultra, at 1500 nits maximum brightness. Samsung's screens have always popped, but this one really stands out. You can set the screen resolution to 1080p or Quad HD to save battery and increase game frame rates, but the option to manually switch between 60Hz and 120Hz refresh rates is now gone. Instead, the display automatically changes from 10Hz up to 120Hz depending on what you're looking at. Finally, The Ultra is the only member of the S21 family that works with Samsung's S Pen. The active, pressure-sensitive style is previously reserved for the Note series.